everybody's all good to go, we will jump right in, and I'm going to try and make this as interactive as possible, but just to kind of just get you all up to date, there's going to be lots of time for questions. I guess I'll just jump straight over to the screen now to share. The first thing that I want to really say is welcome, and you're now all part of the VIP club. So that's really, really exciting. So while you're doing this program, you're going to be part of the VIP club, and that gives you all kinds of access to other resources and webinars and everything. We've got heaps of stuff that you can go to our website, you can review them. There's imposter syndrome, there's scaling up, there's goal setting, there's all sorts of great things that you can go and look at and use in addition to what we're going to have here in this program. So we've gone through the quick welcome, we've gone through the introduction. So what I want to do is just jump in and tell you a bit more about the program, and then I'm going to just show you what it looks like. So I'm going to sort of like give you a bit of a navigation around the program online, and also what you can expect at the end of it, because we're all working towards a goal, and that goal is to actually create your own best practice new age leadership framework. And so you're going to basically have that on one page by the end of this, but you're also going to have sitting behind that a whole bunch of tools that are going to help you with the implementation. And I'll touch on those very quickly, but I've worked across financial services in investment banking, and we were always into writing documents, big, long documents, and that's what everybody wanted. And then I was in telco, and management consulting as well was the same, by the way. Then I was in telco, and what they wanted was PowerPoints and pretty pictures. So you're going to have the best of both worlds. You're going to have PowerPoint decks that are made for you. You're going to have Word documents that are set up for you. So if you ever at any time want to go ahead and implement this, anytime you want to implement this anywhere, you can just pick whichever sort of portal it is that you need to be able to deliver that through. So you're all very successful candidates for this New Age Leadership Program for the scholarship. It was obviously a giveaway for International Women's Day. Last year, we did a massive event at the Sydney Stock Exchange with the United Nations Women's Organisation, CEO Simone Clark, who, if you were at the International Women's Day event this year, as were you, Elle, you would have seen her speaking. She's an incredible woman. We've also got a webinar that we did in February where she spoke on closing the gap on gender equality in the workplace. So if you haven't seen that, go and have a look at it. It's really, really incredible. We've got some other phenomenal women on there, including Danny, who was participating in that panel. So please jump on there. Now, this program is actually really, really unique in that a lot of leadership programs tend to sort of talk about, you know, how do you step up as a leader? You know, how do you learn to delegate? How do you motivate people? How do you do time management? How do you work with conflict? All those sorts of things. This is something incredibly different to that. So I will explain to you a little bit about why we came to this, what the topics are and everything. But it actually addresses current topics that most organizations are facing now, but some of them actually don't even realize that they need to embrace them and face them. And in the next couple of years, it's going to be mandatory for them to do this. So by you doing this program, you're already ahead of the curve. And particularly as it comes to, you know, Erin looking for a new role and how she can position herself, that it's going to really place you in that leveled up position. So that's going to be amazing. When you complete this, you're going to have that suite of resources and tools that's going to set you up to stand out from the crowd. So you're going to be able to leverage your career in ways that you hadn't ever dreamed of. And you're going to draw on decades of experience that's actually gone into building this program that is all at your fingertips. So if you're excited, drop a Y in the chat box, because I know I am. I'm going to slam one in there because I can. So let's get started on what that really looks like. So as a certified New Age leader, you're going to be able to implement the learnings into your organization, whether that's a current one or a future one, or it could be across your business division. It could be in any aspect of your leadership roles right now. You're going to start to teach other people those philosophies and frameworks. So I know a number of you are already leading other teams, so you're going to be able to get others to come on board and learn the same sort of techniques. So you're going to create a followership for yourself as a leader. You're going to be able to integrate culture and leadership into technology and process transformation projects. So you'll understand that technology and processes come together, but people is an essential part of that transformation. So this is going to be the cog in the wheel that you're going to need to really make that successful. So that's really, really exciting for you. So whether you're part of a startup, you'll get your foundations laid. If you're a scale up, you're going to be in a position where you're ready to say, hey, are we going to grow this business? What do we need to do to get all of our ducks lined up? It's going to give you all of that. And importantly, it's going to ensure that you attract compatible talent, because you're going to become the place or the leader that people are going to want to work for or in. Now, in today's world, and we'll probably talk about this in the program anyway, we're in a world where there's a whole bunch of skill shortage going on. And you lot are really nice young people, but I'm not, I'm old. And so when I went and took on jobs, I was really trying to sell myself to an organization. But now, when you go to an organization, you go in with purpose, you go in with your own values, and you want to know, is that organization actually congruent with my own values and purpose? So, you know, what do you do around environmental, sustainability, governance? Do you have a diverse organization? Do you have flexible working hours? That's what people are asking for now. And old school companies aren't embracing that enough right now. But that's the difference between where an employee decides, am I going to go to that company or that company? And in a world where we've got skill shortage, we need to know that we're attracting that talent to us. So this is what's going to really help you be able to do that. Now, if you leave a business division or you change anywhere in the future, you're going to be able to take these tools and implement them in a new place. So it's completely transferable. It's diverse for what you can implement it to. Now, what else? You're going to be, I'll flick through this very quickly. You're going to be adopting a mindset that aligns to best modern practice and is perfectly aligned to your organization. So it's your own best practice framework that you're going to be developing. You're going to lead and drive new initiatives based on sound awareness. So somebody else said, I really want to stand out from the crowd. That's what you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to accelerate your organization or your business division or your company into a new world, creating that relevance for the future and sustainability for the planet. You'll be able to enable human transformation amongst your communities, and you'll be able to create your own customized framework that you'll be able to use anywhere, and you're going to get lots and lots of new skills and insights to really excel as a leader. So I think that's really exciting. And as I mentioned just before, often technology and processes are a focal area around transformation. And we really feel that that people part of it needs to be embraced. So how do you create as a leader the people to follow you in those particular beliefs? Now you can, I'll mention to you a little bit later about how you can change up the program if you want to. But essentially what this is for leaders, it's for aspiring leaders, it's for founders, it's for executives and board members. And that's right across from startups, scale-ups, small to medium enterprises, right up to large corporations. So it covers absolutely every area. So it doesn't matter where you are on that area, you're going to find some use for this. Now, in the program, I will jump to it in a second, you're going to cover 5 core areas that are going to make you a new age leader. And that's what you're about to become. So get on board and be excited. Each of those modules are going to drill down into each of the subjects. Now, there's a really important part around here, culture and structure. Now, you could say, yeah, everybody needs to do culture, everyone needs to do structure, but it's actually really, really important. And what will happen is you'll go through those modules and you'll create what you think should be your culture and your structure. And then later on, as you go through all the other lessons, you may well come back and you'll revise that and tweak it a little bit, because you're going to learn how new age leaders and new age companies are actually setting up their own. So you might tweak that. Nothing is in concrete until you finish your framework. So you can change anything at any time based on your learnings, but you're going to go through in-depth knowledge on each of those sections. What else? So let me show you a walkthrough. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through what the program actually looks like right now. And this is essentially what will happen. You'll come into the training platform, you'll set up your own username and password, and you'll get straight into the program. And the first thing that will happen is you'll get this welcome video. And whenever anything starts, when you start a new module, it's going to automatically play those videos for you. You can stop and start however you like. Then there's going to be a bit more of an introduction. We're going to have a little bit of a get to know you session. So you'll fill in your QR code, read this, or you'll go to a Survey Monkey and you'll give a little bit more information about what you're doing. And then there's a little bit more of a welcome video. You've got in here all of your email addresses for support. So anytime you have a question, you just keep that one on file. You've got access to our exclusive Facebook here, and you can follow us on LinkedIn. You can follow us on Instagram. You can join our Women in Digital International group on LinkedIn, which is great for international connections for other women in digital. And then you can also have a look at all of our coaching sessions that are coming up, or in the past. We do one every month, so you're welcome to join all of those, and you can use this BLA VIP code to bypass any fees that are associated with that. You can follow us on Facebook, and we also have the Code of Ethics for the International Coach Federation. So what that means is when we do our coaching sessions, it gives you a bit of a framework as to how we work within those guidelines. So you're always in a safe and secure environment. It's everything that we talk about is confidential, and you need to know that you can be in that trusted and safe place when we have those coaching sessions. So that's just a little bit of background for you. There's some PowerPoint slides here as well for you. So all the materials are pretty much available. Then you'll go through an overview, which is kind of what we're doing now. So even when you get to this part, if you wanted to skip it, you can, or if you want to just refresh your mind, you can. And then we get straight into module 1. Now, each of the modules have got 6 lessons in each. So as you start them, some will be, again, it's just going to automatically play. You'll have the opportunity to download your workbook, but you will get all of these in the post. So I'm going to be sending all of these out to each and every one of you. So if you want to have a handwritten one, don't worry about printing it yourself. You'll get that in the mail. And then we go through every single one of these. By the end, you'll have exercises that will need to complete. So download those, and then you submit them in through your BLA support email. Now, after the first module, you're going to have you've got a 2-week window. So you can jump on and you can do this anytime in those 2 weeks. The reason we do it in 2 weeks, and it's what you'll hear in a minute when you hear from Kelly, is that you can really embed your learnings. So it's not like this is going to take you, hours and hours and hours to do. You can go through it quite quickly. You can pick it up, drop it whenever you want. It's all self-paced. But you can sort of have a look and say, oh, actually, we talked about that in this part of the program. What's happening around my environment now? And you get to learn and think about what you've been taking on board and how you can actually implement the changes. So what you'll find is it will drip feed. So even once you've finished module 1, it'll be 2 weeks, and then the second one will come along for you. So you can have a break in between. If you're really into fast tracking it, because, look, Erin, you're in a unique situation because you've got a bit more time on your hands. So if you want to fast track through it, then I can give you access to a separate module that will enable you to fast track through. So you can maybe steam through a bit quicker, because you don't need that time to sit and look around about where you are and what's actually working around you. You can kind of dive straight in, and Jackie similarly, if you feel the same. So just let me know if you prefer a fast track. We can do that. Otherwise you'll just automatically go into the drip feed one. So the next thing you'll do is you'll start going through organizational structure. Again, very similar experience to before. And then the really sexy stuff happens when you start to get to the future of work. So you're going to look at, what does future of work mean? You're going to look at sustainability, ESG, CSR, all the really cool subjects that are just so different and that are going to make you stand out from the crowd as a new age leader. So you've got diversity, equity, inclusion. You're going to be looking at virtual leadership. You're going to be looking into the Great Resignation and the reason for these skills that we're talking about. And then we're going to have a look at your leadership style as well. So how are you actually showing up currently as a leader? And in all of these things, you're going to have downloadable documents and resources that you can go into. Now, at the end of module 3 is when you are going to have your first coaching session. So if you think, okay, it's going to take me 6 weeks, then jump onto that link, book your time in with me. And then even at the end, and Erin, if you're going to do yours quicker, or whoever wants to fast track, you just book it in sooner. So just find a time and slot that in the diary so you're in. And when we go through that coaching session, we're going to be talking about what have you been learning, what have you been experiencing, what's coming up for you, are you seeing any challenges, are you seeing any barriers to what you're trying to do? And we'll have a one-on-one coaching session for an hour together that is just for you, where we'll talk through all of those things, so you're going to be ready to get onto the next 3 modules. So the next 3 modules, we're going to talk about technology and data. We'll cover data privacy, so we'll talk about the notifiable data breach scheme as a bit in there as well. We'll share an interview with you that I've done with one of the privacy commissioners of Australia, great guy called Malcolm. We're going to look at ecosystems and collaboration, emerging technology, cyber resilience and risk, and we're going to look at technology as enabler. And this is a really exciting part too, because in this module, you're going to have a look at what are the emerging technologies. You're going to get a bit of a snippet of each of those, and then you're going to look at it and say, hey, you know what, I might pick one of these and I'm going to implement it, or I'm going to come up with an idea of how I can implement that where I work now to maybe drive down costs, create better operational efficiencies, and just create a nice little project for yourself where you can do that. But what's more important is when you know the results of that, how do you share that? So who do you need to get into the head of to tell these people, hey, you know what, I've come up with this great new initiative. Look at me, I'm a fantastic new leader. I'm out there, I'm trying to drive things forward. But how do you get that across the line? And so many people don't have that experience to know who are the stakeholders to go to, who are the decision makers, what do I need to do about getting funding? All of that is going to be in here for you. So you're going to be taken through the process of how you even excel that up through your organization. It actually makes me so excited when I talk about it, because it's all the stuff that I found so hard to do, you know, in my own career, and we just want to fast track that for everybody else. Then we're going to be looking at you. So, you know, you as a new age leader, what are the principles that you're going to apply? How do you bring coaching into your leadership style? So that's going to be really exciting. You're going to look at personal branding, thought leadership, forward thinking, keeping momentum, again, lots of resources. And then the final part is when it all really comes together. So you're going to have the framework on a page. You're going to have the template, the downloadable document in the Word document. You're going to have a PowerPoint presentation. And then finally, you're going to book your final coaching session in here as well. And you're going to have all the resources to download and deliver. Now, just again, very quickly, just to give you a snippet of what you can expect. So this is an example of what the Word document will look like. So it's quite comprehensive. You know, you've got a whole index here that when you just basically go in and you fill in all the gaps. So what are my principles here? What's the reason for what I'm doing? What are the drivers behind it? And those things are going to come up individually for you that are relative to your organization. So this document is going to serve you to be able to go ahead and put your recommendations forward in your own organizations, should you choose to use a Word document. And then there's also a PowerPoint presentation, which I can show you again in a second. And then you're also going to have the opportunity, when you've finished everything, you might now say, oh my God, you know, I really want to get my leaders across this. So how do you then create like a group facilitation to help to share that knowledge across your leaders? So there is that part of it as well, which you can come to. You don't need to worry about that right now, but it's just a natural progression for you to go to a little bit later on. So any questions so far?
Just a quick one, Cindy. Was it halfway through you wanted us to book the coaching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after module 3 and after module 6, and then after module 6 will really help you in how you bring this to life in your organization, because you'll have done all the theory and all the work and the practicals. It's like, right now, how do we make this rubber hit the road? So that's going to be really, really important to you. So just any other questions?
Cindy, just to confirm, did you say that try to do one module a week?
No, so you'll do one module every 2 weeks.
One module every 2 weeks, okay.
In the drip feed. So what will happen is, as soon as you start, the clock starts ticking, so you'll have access to module 1. Automatically, 14 days later, module 2 is going to come up.
Oh, right, okay.
Unless you do the fast track model, which is everything's available from day 1. So, you know, that's it. But I strongly encourage, if you're working in an environment where you want to be implementing and practicing it, do the drip feed version, because then you really learn and embed as you need to go.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. So
Cindy, another question. I think I clicked start last night. Does that mean that my thing started last night, and just trying to figure out how you align with the rest of the group are we all starting at the same time, or are we starting at different times?
You can start as and whenever you like. So probably most people are already starting if they haven't started already.
Okay.
But it's nice that you're all starting at the same time, because when you're on the Facebook page, if you want to ping each other, or if you want to share your LinkedIn, and by the way, while I'm talking, if anyone wants to share their LinkedIn profile on the chat box for the others to connect, feel free to do that. There's no, I'm not forcing you to, it's up to you, but it's nice to be able to connect. But yeah, you can just do it at your own pace, and you might find that you haven't even finished module 1 and module 2 pops up. And that's okay. It will just be sitting there. You just do it at your own pace. Some people have taken 6 months to do it, because that's just the nature of their environments and what they do and how they're working. That's essentially your framework on a page. So this is going to be completed by you. You'll have set your vision, your mission, and your values. And I know some of you work for big organizations and they already have their own vision, mission, and values, which is actually fine to align with them. But if you're a division of a bank, so for example, Kathy is working in ME Bank, right? You're working in ME Bank and you're working on a retail project, which is kind of like a separate entity in its own, because it's a separate project that's running. So you might actually have your own vision, mission, and values for your project, for everybody in that team. I ran a $70 million transformation program for CBA back in the early 2000s, and we had EDS, we had end users, we had implementation partners, technical partners, hardware, middleware, software partners. So you can imagine that there were many, many stakeholders. So we were an entity in ourselves, so we could actually create our own, values and the way we worked as a team. So my motto was always, when you walk into this office, you put on a hat that's called Project Victor, and I don't care where you're from, we're all here together to deliver a project, and there's no finger pointing on things that go wrong. So it's those sorts of things as an example that you could use it in your own, bespoke sort of division in a big organization. But this is essentially what you're going to have at the end on a page. So that's all going to be available. So that's kind of the background about the program. And now what I want to do is just talk about the admin and the resources and the getting you on board and started. So before we move on, are there any other questions around the program at this point? So we use a platform that's called Thinkific. And as we enroll you as a user, you would have received an email that said you've been enrolled, and you choose your username and your password. We've just talked about booking your midpoint and your final point. So you've got the Calendly link. As you go through the program, it will prompt you as well. So don't worry if you haven't remembered that link at this stage. You will have access to our social media platforms, which I think, here they are. So we'll come back to that one in a second. With that, you'll be able to post your feedback and comments about the program as you go. You'll also be able to be notified of webinars and other resources that we give you for free, and other webinars that are coming up. So you'll be able to see what's coming through all the time and jump on and get registered for those early on. So that's really how you can keep up to date with us. Mailing addresses. So if anybody hasn't given me their mailing address, I don't expect you to put it in the chat box here for privacy reasons. But if you don't mind sending it through either to Anne or myself, just drop your postal address. Doesn't matter if you prefer not to give your home address, that's fine. Just give me your work address and we'll get the workbooks out to you as well. So if you can complete that, that would be amazing. We talked about webinars, and we talked about joining Facebook and LinkedIn group. You've got the email address there as well. And just also one thing I didn't explain to you was that you're all enrolled on the New Age Leadership Program, which is our standard program. There is another version of the program, which is what we call the Certified Practitioner New Age Leadership Program. You go through exactly the same program that you're going through, but what you receive are additional resources that help you to be able to coach other people doing the program. So if you're a leader of other people and you want your teams, your direct leaders to be able to do this program later on, and you want to coach them through that, then you can just upgrade and you can just do the Certified Practitioner Program, which gives you all the coaching questions and all the material to be able to become a practitioner. So that's something that you can think about later on if you're interested. So staying connected, we've talked about the digital women in digital leadership. Maybe now to join, you can see all of our upcoming and past webinars through the link there. so there's no way you can't connect with us. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. If you do have any questions or you want to just throw a few ideas around, now's the time to ask. And look, we're here. So you've got the email addresses, anything that you need. I'm just going to come off the sharing now. Anything at all that you need, we can absolutely accommodate you and make sure that you get everything that you need to get through the program. Appreciate you all taking the time out to join us for this and to go through the briefing. So I will look forward to seeing you all, I guess, in our first one-on-one session. And everybody's good to go. No final.
Thank you.
So I can see you're all smiling, see you're excited and got the champagne, celebrating. Awesome. Okay.
Thanks so much, Cindy. Thanks so much, Anne. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's nice to meet you all. Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye. Bye.